We will start with the first game we had on tap, what was the 49ers and the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles win this one pretty convincing in a score of 31-7. Now, if you look at the box score, you would think, wow, the 49ers got absolutely massacred, outmatched, outplayed, which was true to an extent, but big caveat there. The 49ers were down to another string of quarterback. Brock Purdy gets hurt. We now found out that he has a sprained or a torn UCL. I believe that's what the injury is. I believe that's something in the elbow or the throwing motion that really affects that. Because when he came back in the game for Josh Johnson, who was the backup, who was then out of the game for an injury because he had a concussion, when Brock Purdy came back in, I believe he threw one pass, and I think that pass was for maybe just a few yards. It wasn't many. And essentially, they became one-dimensional. And that was the story of this game. You had the Philadelphia Eagles, who, in my opinion, were the best team in the NFC. And then you also had, the 49ers, who were the second-best team, in my opinion. But with no quarterback, there's not much you can do. And a lot of people were, yes, Brock Purdy's been really good since he's came in. The kid's been undefeated. He's played some good football. I think he had 14 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He was undefeated as a starter. He was playing some good football. Granted, he's in a really good system, got some great playmakers around him. Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk. I mean, you got a bunch of good guys there. So he was put in a very good system. Kyle Shanahan, a really good play caller for the most part. And, he was able to give it a run there, and he got his 49ers all the way to the NFC Championship game. And it's just unfortunate to see the injury happen. A lot of people were questioning his toughness. He had the sprained UCL. I would like to see how many people could go out there with that and try to give it a go at the quarterback position. So tough break for him. He did some nice things this year, and he certainly inserted himself into the conversation to be starting quarterback for the 49ers. We'll discuss that in a little bit. But, tough year for the Niners, or a tough end to the year for the Niners for such a good year that they had. Probably the best defense in the NFL. But there wasn't much they can do, and I don't want to take too much credit away from the Eagles, because the Eagles, while they can't control who they're playing against, they can just control how well they play, and they certainly did that. Jalen Hurts, it's neck and neck between him and Mahomes for the MVP race. I'm going to give the edge to Mahomes just a little bit, and we'll talk more about that. But Jalen Hurts had a nice game. And the whole Eagles defense, man, I mean, they got some guys. They got some really good guys on that side of the ball. There's just no real weaknesses on this Eagle team. I mean, you got great quarterback play, a quarterback that is playing at an MVP level. You've got a great ground attack. You've got arguably 2 number ones. It could be. I would say A.J. Brown's a 1. I would say Devontae Smith's a really, really good number 2. Maybe a fringe 1. And then you've got a fantastic offensive line with Kelsey and some of those guys. And, the defensive line is stacked. You got guys in the secondary. And this Eagles team, they're young. They've got a lot of draft picks, a lot of good draft picks coming up in this next year's draft. A lot of high picks for them, being such a great team. I mean, it's a lot to look forward to. So, shout out to the Eagles. They've had a fantastic year. They didn't, crumble as the best team. A lot of these teams, they're the number 1 seed sometimes, and they come in here with their, they're up here. Then they get into a tough playoff matchup, and then they're out. Not this year. Eagles make it to the Super Bowl as they should, because they're the best team in the NFC all season long. So congratulations to them.